All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this exhibition and the event with the artist. And we have Dr. Cruz here with us. So I would like for Dr. Cruz to say a few words, and then I'll start with the presentation and introduce the artist, and the artist will talk as well. And then at the end, you will have the chance to have a Q&A with any of the artists and any of the artworks, or in general questions, and any of the artists will answer.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Tony Cruz. I'm your campus president, and it is really a great pleasure to have Mr. Khawam here and this amazing exhibition that we have here at the Kendall Campus Gallery. And as you can see, and all of you are enjoying the artwork, we have artwork from around the world. And anytime that we can bring this level of art to our campus for your enjoyment, it's a tremendous day. And I hope that you will not just enjoy it today, but spread the word in the community to students, to other people in the community about this exhibition that's going to go on through October 5th, to make sure that many people, not just you that are in this room and those that are streaming today, are taking advantage of this. So thank you for being here today, and we look forward to many more exhibitions this academic year. This one kicks it off for this academic year, and we look forward to many great things in the future. Thank you very much.
So today's presentation is about the current exhibition here at the gallery. And the theme of the exhibition is Crossing Borders, Artists from the Middle East and the Americas. The idea for the exhibition is to get together different nationalities under one roof and learn about their cultural heritage and how that cultural heritage influenced each artist in their current work. So I'll present some slides here about the current exhibitions, and then we'll move on to the artists. By artists from Colombia, Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, Israel, Syria, Lebanon, Turkey, France, and the UK. Their work addresses the impact of heritage, immigration, and the new American culture on their lives and art making. Common threads are recurrent references to their heritage, shared experiences, indigenous methodologies, and social norms. The featured artists often invoke national art histories, either in tribute or subversion. But also engage with current happenings and international artistic trends. These artists enter into dialogues with the traditions of the past at the same time that they participate in current global artistic discussion. Their simultaneous engagement with the past, present, and the future speaks to a singular creative present. Featured works by Ilan Averbuch from Israel, Jose Bedia from Cuba, Linda Behar from Venezuela, Edouard Duval-Carrie from Haiti, Galen, Cheney from Boston area, and from an English background as well, Adnan Sharara from Lebanon, Andrew Cotton from England, Yvonne Ferrer from Cuba, Tony Kawam from Syria, Sibel Kocabaşı from Turkey, Santiago Medina from Colombia, Carlos Sablon from France and originally from Cuba, and Celia Wilkinson from the United Kingdom. This is some of the marketing materials that we've done in the past, and we have done several exhibitions, starting with Kendall Art Center in Miami in August 2021. Each exhibition, we showcase a number of artists. So we started with 6 artists, and then we grew up to 13 artists. And the reason for that is we want to show different artwork in every exhibition. So we don't repeat the same exhibition in a different art institution or gallery. We also showcase it in Miami during Art Basel Miami at Scope Art Show. And at Arts Warehouse in Delray Beach, Florida, back in January and February. And recently we finished the exhibition at Cotella Gallery at NSU, Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. And now we have the exhibition here at Miami-Dade College at the Arts and Design Gallery. And of course, a couple of images here are from yesterday's reception and some of the artwork here in this exhibition. So once we finish the presentation and the Q&A, please, I know you had other classes, but if you have a few minutes, you can take a look and you can always come back and take a look at the work. So we're gonna start with the first artist, Ilan Averbuch. He's doing big installation and unable to join us, but just to show you some of his work, the two paintings here in mixed media, which shows his thoughts of how he begins a concept for monumental sculpture or for public art project. And some of the public art project you can see here on the screen, some in Florida and others in New York and others in major universities and other public places. The next artist is Sibel Kocabaşı from Turkey, and Sibel is with us, and you can go ahead and talk about your heritage and how your heritage influenced your current work, and talk about the materials that you use.
Hi, thank you again for grateful to be in the exhibition. My work is, I'm working as a material is emergency blankets. These are survival blankets. My studies in the past, I studied rug and design, traditional rug design in Turkey, in Istanbul. And I didn't have much chance to explore that after I moved to America. But then years later, I kind of find the connection, and then passionately I'm working, and I'm very attracted to this material. And I also was very much fascinating that how the rural people and the villages in the past is still happening, how they create their own designs and instinctively without education, just observing their nature and around them. So I decided mixing those ideas and the feelings, and I wanted to add this gold because gold is now is as a material, gold keeps from heat, and the silver part, this blankets are other side is silver, keeps from cold. And I find this material very fascinating and adding together. So I started using my own design. And also this is about immigration or forced immigration, how the cultural erosion is going on right now. And the climate change is happening, and so much, cultural moves, and many countries are in it's like a whole new generation. How many years we've been like moving, and we start having wars or forced immigrations going on, for forced moves going on. So this is what I want to make attention to, the cultural difference and erosions and the forced immigration. Did I explain it? Yeah,
Great.
That's what my attention is. And the gold you can't keep, you have is very visible. So that was another reason I choose gold blanket.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. On the, okay, thank you.
Sure. The next artist is Adnan Sharara from Lebanon. Adnan, go ahead, answer the same question about your heritage and your current work.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adnan Sharara, as you know. Thank you for the invite and being part of this exhibition. The way I deal with my work, since I grew up both in Lebanon and in West Africa, Sierra Leone, and coming to the US as a teenager to continue my higher education, I worked in different medias, like the Biblical Fruits series that is exhibited in the exhibition deals with the Ibrahimian religion and the aspect of the different meaning of the fruits, like and the like the olive, the pomegranate, and the grapes, and the figs, which is in all of the Ibrahimian religion texts, whether it's in the Quran, Torah, or the Bible. So, and I use that to show that the different culture and how we integrate like as a society, and the crossing the different religion and bringing the harmony between them, that is all of them basically have one aim, to be better and to be good. Now, in my whimsical series, it's in those I more depict and work on current events and how it is complicated and intertwined. So basically that bring me, and also growing up in Africa and seeing the African terrain and also about talking also about wars and the effect of them and how they could devastate and create diasporas.
Okay. Thank you, Adnan.
Mm-hmm.
And the next artist is me, Tony Kawam. I'm also, when I started painting some of the chaos paintings theme about 7 years ago, it was relating to the social unrest in the Middle East. And that affected me because I was born in Aleppo, Syria, immigrated to the US when I was a teenager. So some of the cultural heritage where I grew up in, and I remember some of the neighborhoods that were completely destroyed. So I wanted to kind of highlight some of these neighborhoods and these streets and buildings, and not in the destruction fashion, even though it portrays destruction, but I wanted to make it hopeful. So I included lots of color to bring it back from the dead and rise from the ashes. And of course, last year, I started a new painting series, which is completely the opposite of chaos, which is about prosperity. And we all know prosperity here in the US and in many countries around the world. Here in the US specifically is South Florida or Florida in general, and of course other parts of the US. But because I'm living in South Florida now, I'm influenced by my surrounding. So I included some historical figures from my culture and other cultures, whether it's ancient culture like Mesopotamia, Egyptian, and the Greek, Roman, into the present time, combine them with Florida theme. to kind of give it a little bit more of contemporary look and feel. So that's the heritage influence on my current work. And we have Jose Bedia is unable to join us today, but some of his work is back there. And you can see he's a Cuban-American artist, and he's very much influenced by his surroundings and his memories from Cuba, and also his Miami and Florida living. But he includes a lot of historical Cuban and other African tribal figures into his work, and in a very social commentary way. We have also Edouard Duval-Carrie, unable to join us, and he's from Haiti. And you can see some of his Haitian influence. He paints a lot of paintings about Haitian history, and also combines them with his influence here in Florida. So he brings a lot of floral and happy scenes into the historical Haitian history. Yvonne Ferrer, she's not with us. She had a problem coming here with this weather. So she's also Cuban-American artist. She's based in Miami, and her work is very transfiguration into abstractions. She combines both her Cuban background with Spanish educational studies in Spain, and then moved to the United States. So there's a lot of influence in her work. We have Santiago Medina, is from Colombia, and he's a sculptor, and he used a lot of stainless steel sculptures, and these are some of the small size sculptures. He does monumental sculptures as well, and they're displayed all over the US in different universities and public places. Andrew Cotton, also from the UK. He's a Fort Lauderdale-based artist, and he has a solo show starting this week. So he's quite busy doing installation now in Fort Lauderdale at Riverview Gallery in Fort Lauderdale. And his work is also combined between his British heritage with American contemporaries and pop art as well. We have with us Celia Wilkinson from the UK. Celia, go ahead, please.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me. So my heritage, I mean, I was immersed in the art world the minute I was born, because my mother was an art teacher and a painter. My father was a design professor. And so we were basically dragged around exhibitions as soon as we could open our eyes. And there's a very long tradition of British landscape painting. And I think I'm trying to sort of continue that line of British landscape painters. So I can refer to sort of Patrick Heron, Ivan Hitchens. There was a sort of group who formed in Cornwall in St Ives and in the 60s. And they basically dismantled the landscape and put it back together using a very few marks, sort of broad marks. And so from a distance, you can see what it is, but the closer you get, it sort of disintegrates. And I'm quite fascinated by that. And that's partly what I try and do with my paintings. So I try and grab the essence of the place wherever I am, not necessarily English landscape. Although the two that you can see in the exhibition are quintessentially English. It's not called the green and pleasant land for no reason. It's literally green and pleasant. So the one you can see, the square one, was literally, I was driving down to my studio, which is down this little long lane by the sea, and it just caught my eye the way the light was falling on the landscape and the clarity of the rocks, and the sky had this sort of cloud formation. And so it was a very, very spontaneous painting. As soon as I got there, I knew exactly what was going to happen. It doesn't always work like that. I'm influenced by so many different things and so many different artists that I've been sort of had taught to me by my parents, and you know, that I've looked at. I've lived in sort of various parts of Ireland, the UK, and all the influences are different. So, for example, an American artist, Duval-Carrie, is one of my huge influences. The way he uses perspective and color, grading color, to produce that distance in his paintings is massive for me. And Bomberg, just the sheer energy of his paintings, another great American landscape painter. My father, being a designer, was a huge fan of Frank Lloyd Wright, Corbusier, Charles Rennie Mackintosh, architects who they were obsessed, kind of not obsessed, but it was about simplicity of form and line. And my mother, more painterly, was more about color and laying on paint. So the two influences of my work often fight with each other. They're both very, very strong in me, and have been in me for my whole life. So often I find when things are slightly chaotic outside of my studio, either I can hear something on the news or something's not quite right in my life, I tend to go much more abstract, and the lines come in, the rigidity comes in, and I'm trying to control everything. When everything is calm, the more painterly side comes out. I'm happiest when they're in harmony. I like it when they gel together and produce a sort of harmonious image, but often one wins over the other. I can't help that. So really, my tradition, my heritage is these great British artists, I suppose, that I've known for all my life, and women like Barbara Hepworth and Elizabeth Frink, who did these huge sculptures of very noble heads and very, noble, bold forms. And the fact that they were women as a young girl was so inspiring for me to think that I can be in that world as well and produce strong images in paint. And that's what I strive to do. I don't paint pretty pictures necessarily. It just depends on my mood. I mean, but I guess that's, that's pretty much me. I don't have any real backstory of, my only crossing of a border really was that we actually moved when I was 8 years old to Northern Ireland in the middle of the Troubles, which is kind of the other way around to most people. You wouldn't necessarily do that, but there was a reason for it. And that was confusing for me, because suddenly going from a very safe environment to an environment I didn't understand, where everyone hated each other. I couldn't work it out, and they all looked exactly the same. But I think it taught me stoicism, compassion, and just a way of looking at the world differently. So it was, I don't know. Is that that's probably all I can say right now until anyone has any questions.
Oh, we'll leave the questions for the end.
Yeah.
And we move on to the next artist. Carlos Sablon, born in Cuba and has a American and European influence. He's in a surrealist style, but Carlos, you with us?
Buenos días, buenos días.
And Carlos
Para mí,
speaks
sí.
Spanish, so he's going to speak in Spanish. I hope many of you can understand. Go ahead, Carlos.
Muchas gracias, Tony. Ante todo, gracias por tu invitación para participar en este interesante proyecto y el colectivo de artistas. Para mí es un gusto exponer con ustedes, compartir un espacio tan importante como es este Museo de Arte. Bueno, voy a hablar un poco de mi obra, de mi camino como artista. Soy un artista nacido en Cuba, de origen cubano, nacido en Cuba. Hice mi formación, mis estudios principales lo hice en este país. Y una primera parte de mi carrera artística la comencé también en mi ciudad de origen, Bayamo, ¿no? Que es un nombre indígena. De manera inconsciente, ya había algo bien claro de lo que yo quería en la pintura y se mantiene hasta el día de hoy. Lo pueden apreciar al nivel de las obras antropomorfas que yo desarrollo. Y esto es muy ligado a esos orígenes. O sea, Bayamo es un pueblo al oriente de Cuba, con un arraigo a la cultura aborigen, a culturas taínas, siboneyes, todo lo que viene siendo Centroamérica. Y de otra parte, en otro punto, yo estaba muy interesado por la pintura europea a partir del siglo XV, todos los movimientos manieristas, renacentistas, barrocas. Siempre fui un gran consumidor de arte. Y eso es lo que me lleva a llegar a Europa, a llegar a Francia, interesarme principalmente por las grandes escuelas europeas de pintura. Pero en esto ocurre algo curioso, que cuando llego a Europa, en la primera etapa de mi carrera, yo trabajé principalmente la pintura al óleo, y cuando llego a Europa, cambio y empiezo a hacer interpretaciones de esas viejas escuelas, pero cambiando de técnica, haciendo acuarelas, haciendo principalmente la pintura acrílica, y es lo que hago hasta el día de hoy. Mi obra viene con una relectura, trato de crear nuevos códigos estéticos, siempre reflejando gran parte de mis orígenes. Insisto mucho sobre los elementos antropomorfos, estos personajes con cabezas de árbol. Simplemente yo creo que es una búsqueda de la conexión, pero finalmente el arte es un pretexto para llegar a algo más, para conectarnos a algo más. Y finalmente la pintura me da esa posibilidad de conectarme, de jugar con las composiciones, de hacer guiños a la historia del arte, de reflexionar, de celebrar, de juzgar. El arte es finalmente una gran plataforma, un gran soporte, donde uno puede trabajar sensaciones, puede experimentar universos. Yo hablo, cada artista tiene sus propios universos y hace coincidir a la sociedad con una forma de pensar. Es curioso sobre estas dos obras que están expuestas en el museo. Hay una que es aproximadamente del 2014, se llama El Buen Compadre. Es como diciendo, marcar una etapa de esa parte como cubano, ¿no? Que viví, que tuve, que disfruté y que sufrí. Pero también, o sea, este segundo cuadro es una autointerpretación enriquecido de otras culturas, de muchos viajes. Yo repito, me gusta mucho visitar galerías, museos de arte y empaparme, enriquecerme de esas tradiciones, de estas vanguardias artísticas que podemos disfrutar aquí en Francia, en Europa. La segunda obra, la de mayor tamaño, se llama Con la cabeza en las nubes. Y quisiera compartir con ustedes una pequeña anécdota que yo creo que muchos de los artistas la han vivido, o sea, en la juventud, esa distracción, esa concentración hacia las artes visuales. te aleja un poco de la realidad, y gracias a esa conexión que yo tengo con el arte, que no puedo apartarlo en ningún momento, me ha podido llevar a muchos lugares, conocer muchas culturas, intercambiar con muchos tipos diferentes de personas. Y yo creo que finalmente es la riqueza y es más bien un tributo de lo que hoy soy. Alguien enriquecido con muchas culturas, con la libertad de crear, con la posibilidad y el chance de crear en un país como Francia, con una programación importante de exposiciones en museos, galerías, proyectos importantes. Y agradezco nuevamente al colega artista Tony Kawam haberme invitado a este importante evento con artistas de la calidad que podemos apreciar. Muchas gracias.
Perfect. Thank you, Carlos.
You're welcome.
And we have with us Santiago. So we're going to go back to Santiago to give him a chance to talk about his artwork.
Thank you, Tony, and also Miami-Dade College for the invitation for this exhibition, joining such a selective group of artists. I'm originally from Colombia, and I moved to the US during the Escobar years. And I work as an artist, but also as a physician. I do primarily brain imaging, and what I try to do with my art is fuse some of the sculptures with what I do on the brain imaging side. As you know, art has to keep you engaged, so your brain is always activated. Usually, if things do not change, your brain usually decreases the activation because it's not seeing something new. And because of that, that's how I got interested in stainless steel, because it's always changing the surface based on the reflections. And I've been working with stainless steel for the last 25 years. So that's how I brought, stainless steel and what I do in regards to brain imaging. Even though I left Colombia during the Escobar years, I tried to look more at the positive side of art. And I think that stainless steel tends to be uplifting. People interact with the sculptures, they take selfies and so forth. So that's the whole idea, is trying to bring some positive side to all of the negativity that we have in our home countries to an extent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Santiago. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for attending today's special cultural event with the artist and about the exhibition. And we, encourage you to tell your friends to come visit the gallery and see the artwork. Thank you.